You know, they say if self-deprecation is the most sincere form of flattery, then you're a good-looking man.
Thank you. Happy Halloween. Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for 13 days of Film Bites. This is the last day. This is Halloween. And for today, we wanted to end on an extremely low note.
Yes.
So we are doing a film that neither of us know very much about. I found this at the thrift store. August Underground.
Yeah, not exactly someone's basement, but not far from it. It has blood on it, Chase.
Yeah, it just feels gross just feeling it. Like, listen to this. Oh, gross. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, the description of it made me have to buy it. Do you want to read what it says?
Yeah, I would love to. Thank you. The sickest movie you've never seen.
And then read the back.
All right. That was Ultraviolent Magazine, by the way. So yes, here is their one ringing endorsement. Mike Watt from Rue Morgue Magazine said, "I got 5 minutes into the movie before I had to turn it off. Not because it was bad, quite the opposite. It was so well done." They're like, do we put this quote on the box or not? And it's like, well, I mean, it literally says that the guy only watched 5 minutes of the movie, but he does compliment us.
Yeah, if you open it up, it is signed by the director.
Hey!
It's a blank VHS. So
yeah, there's no kind of label.
This really could be a snuff film. I was reading a Complex article, and it was on the 50 most disturbing films ever made, and this one was number 14. So after seeing that, I had to watch it. So 15th place was a Serbian film, and that's, of course, the film about the porn star that has to have sex with a baby.
It's a pretty controversial one.
It also beats out Eraserhead, Old Boy,
Great movie.
Happiness, Funny Games, Man Bites Dogs, Human Centipede 2, Bone Tomahawk.
The best.
So all of these films are less intense.
This is, why are we doing this?
I don't know. But this, we're gonna watch this, and it's not really a snuff film.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude.
It kind of looks like,
Smash Mouth?
What do you think about making your own shit?
Right, go for it, Jimmy. That's disgusting.
Well, Chase, on a scale of 1 to spending the rest of the night in the bathroom, how would you rate this experience?
It's pretty bad. I might vomit, to be honest. And I don't think it was because of the gore. I think it was mostly the camera work on this VHS tape.
Yeah.
I'm like sweating. I feel really sick right now.
I feel a little sick too. I'm honestly shocked that we made it through almost the whole thing.
Yeah, we fast forwarded a couple times just when it was just monotonous and gross, like
lagging. Like there was absolutely nothing happening.
There's only so many times that a guy can rub his shit all over someone that you just kind of have to fast forward those bits.
God, if I had a nickel for every time somebody said that. So Fred Vogel, it is like a torture porn examination. He made the movie. He was pretty fresh out of special effects school. I think he graduated from an art institute in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and he was teaching at Tom Savini's School of Makeup or something.
He was mentioning that he was really at the top of his special effects makeup game. He really wanted to make a big budget zombie horror film, and to do that he knew that he needed to have some clout to get financing to back it, so he decided to make this with his friend Alan Peters, and it was a way to showcase their special effects makeup artist work, and also to make something that would be shocking enough to audiences to really generate buzz. I mean, on paper it's like, okay, this is what we're gonna do.
Obviously it's 2 years after Blair Witch Project. And they I think had a similar idea, but that's just so much better. It still makes me nauseous as well with the camera work, but
it's executed so much better.
The subject matter, the execution.
Well, yeah, I mean, but they were they were the first to do that,
for sure.
In terms of what they were doing with found footage and the idea of making it.
And they took that idea and was like, how can we make this better and yet worse at the same time?
Yeah.
I mean, I think what it has going for it is it does really feel like a snuff film.
It does.
It's not edited well. It cuts a lot of times, just like a
in-camera cuts
would do.
Yeah.
It does kind of feel like they didn't do any editing and they just gave the tape over.
We know that there was virtually probably very little lighting done. It's rumored to have cost about $2,000 to make. The budget is definitely not there. Like, I mean, this is so grassroots guerrilla in so many ways that, like what he had going for him was that, like, we'll set out to make this shocking film that'll generate a lot of buzz, and then the people within our industry and within the horror, film community we'll remember this, and hopefully we could get more work off of this. And I guess that kind of happened because it
I think
spawned
it
2
worked.
sequels, right?
I don't think I want to watch any of them.
No.
Yeah, I don't
Good.
think in terms of filmmaker, I don't think he's very focused or honed.
I don't think he's good.
I think
Yeah.
he's good at makeup.
I think he's really-
and,
yeah,
he's
he's-
good at the,
he's got
the,
talents
the
in
blood
film.
and the special
Mhm.
effects makeup.
'Cause it looked
but
very
as
real.
far as actually making something that's worth watching,
Yes.
not so much.
And I mean, the camera work is so amateur, which I know they're going for, but it's like
But it's
almost
like-
too much. Grocery store or whatever. They're in the bodega
Yeah.
and they're like making the people smell each other's butts.
This
So
is a real
juvenile.
thing.
It is just
But-
it's like a fucking middle school kid.
Or even when he
making
was
this.
taunting the convenience store worker in the beginning,
Sure.
it was just like, "Are you 15?"
I know, who does this anymore? You're way too fucking
he's
old.
Polly shoring it by like eating all the food at the gas station without paying for it.
Yeah.
But they when there's the action in those scenes, particularly, they are like showing the bags of chips and like the Shasta and shit, and they're not actually like filming the violence, and they'll sometimes go over.
It is a creative way as well to get around some of the problems. There's
sure.
a part when they ransack they hit and kill an old woman, and they ransack her house. And the way that they got around that is that the friend is outside for most of this, and then there's like some sort of in-camera cut, and all of a sudden the friend is inside with the camera walking through, and he finds him and the old woman laying on the ground, having already killed her. And it's like, well, this is a way that we get around having to do stunt work with an old lady.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, there's...
Some of the hammer sequences was actually pretty good when
was
they beat people over the head with the
intense,
hammer.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
That looked real.
Mhm.
I don't know.
The
if-
very last death as well with the girl and
Yeah,
the hammer.
that's
That was
probably the
pretty
most intense
visceral.
part.
Yeah, that was very intense.
But then it
That
just
is nuts.
ends. And his whole idea that I watched a little bit of an interview where he said, hey, I want to make this film that doesn't glorify serial killers. It makes them look bad.
Yeah,
you
he didn't
know.
want to glamorize it. Yeah,
Yeah, but then they have no comeuppance. They don't,
Right.
besides maybe this lady at the end
Yeah, maybe she
might tell on
escapes.
them.
no, you're right. There is no comeuppance for them. There's no, because they're not the. And I don't like how some people were using the word protagonists as to describe the characters in this film. They're not protagonists.
They are
That is
not.
the opposite idea of what a protagonist and an antagonist is. They're
Main
definitely
character.
the antagonists. They are the main characters, but they're definitely the bad guys.
We never see the man behind
Yeah,
the camera.
yeah,
But we know he had frosted tips. I mean,
Yeah.
it had to.
It
have.
might have been T.J. Miller again, just like
He
his in
has,
Clover
he has
Island.
like a button-up shirt that has flames.
Oh, he definitely did.
On the side.
This,
But
the,
its
the,
class is blue flames.
the time capsule aspect of this was kind of fun to see some of that stuff.
Yeah.
There's a live band playing a Korn song.
Yeah.
I mean, just some
And
of
they-
this
Like
is
a
kind of fun to
mosh
see.
pit.
Like
That
a
was pretty
random
fun.
mosh pit scene. Where
Yeah.
it's
And
like,
where he like
I don't
takes
know.
it too far and starts beating a guy up, and then they're all like go outside the house that the band's playing in, and
And I kind of wanted to see this guy get his ass beat.
Oh yeah, no,
yeah, that's what you
God.
want. The
Yeah.
entire movie is
I
this.
just like
It would've
I
been
want
refreshing.
somebody to fucking beat this guy's ass
Mhm.
because he kind of deserves it a lot.
Oh, definitely, yeah. He's a piece of shit, and you definitely want to see him get what he deserves. The big problem with him is that this narrative was unfocused. Like he had some major themes and ideas that he wanted to do, but he, besides like the execution of a couple things, the rest of it really was just like last minute. You know,
It was. And I feel like, yes, it was gross. Yes, it was shocking. But I think it could have been a lot more impactful had that narrative been cleaned up a lot more and there was actually something to follow instead of just scenes of farm animals and then we're back to the basement.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
we've got this, miniature train track scene with some kids.
Oh, that was weird.
And it's just like a lot of filler because he needs to make it a certain length.
Yeah,
But there was...
I think under 70
Yeah.
minutes it doesn't count as a feature
To-
film
to
for anything.
start off with just like seeing a woman in a basement with her nipple cut off, and then to go to farm animals and
The film.
and a train track. I'm like,
Yeah.
what are
and you don't know
doing?
why they keep making these trips to the country or whatever.
If they escalated to
Yeah,
that,
the
that
film
would've
never
been
raises the stakes
so
from the
much.
opening
Right.
scene.
You start up here, you got nowhere else to go.
Yeah, it just
Yeah.
goes down a little bit. But I mean,
Yeah, you start down
besides
here.
that last shot of him hammering the girl's
Yeah.
head,
Mhm.
which was like probably the most visceral moment
And then
for
he
me.
pulls his pants
honestly.
up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Definitely.
Oh, in like
yeah.
his fucking boxers he's wearing.
He's like,
How do we feel
oh.
about the nudity and the amount of nudity that was shown. Like,
The
you become numb to it after a
female
while.
heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw tons of naked women, and we saw some ass of man. Not that I wanted to see anything more,
No.
but it just was lopsided, and I think most of it was distasteful. But that's kind of what
And
he
it was
going
like very
for.
misogynistic, but
Yeah.
the characters that are filming this are supposed to be misogynistic.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, it's
what is
a-
that line that you
Yeah.
like?
Mhm.
They cross this line, but is it okay because it's the characters?
Yeah, it's a
and not the
catch-22
filmmakers, I guess?
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, where
it's
you
just not me. It's the characters.
you get you get away with making a shitty movie and doing a piss poor job of it because that was the intention.
I swear
And it's
it
like,
feels like he was just living out some of his weird ass
Uh-huh.
fantasy.
Yeah. So the film Creep 2, that was the first day of the horror bites that we
Mhm.
did for day 1, is similar style. You know, it's a serial killer that has a person that is going along and filming them. It's the exact opposite, and I find that refreshing. Where Mark Duplass's character gets fully nude. There's just a shot of him buck naked. And then when she's like, okay, I'll get naked too, you know, so that they could both be naked together. And then when she starts to strip, he zooms in on her face and you never see her naked.
Yeah.
And that was the exact opposite of this film.
very strong choice, and
Yeah.
I think a very impactful choice. That
Exactly.
was a very strong statement he made with that. Yeah. So there's a really good example of
Yeah, watch that.
Of
watch,
shocking yet
psycho killer.
effective.
Yeah.
It was so lacking as an overall film. Yeah, you got your shock in. Yeah, you got your blood. You showcased how well you can do makeup and special effects. But
Maybe you should
overall,
stick to that.
Yeah.
overall, it was not a good 70 minutes spent.
No.
Yeah, I don't really recommend this for anybody. I don't think you need to see it. It really is like just kind of shoddy quality torture porn. That's what it is.
So he was arrested when he went to Canada with these movies in his bag. And it's not because they thought it was real, which is like...
It's
there's
because
other
they
stories
just
about
knew
that.
what a terrible filmmaker
It's
he
because...
was.
Yeah, no,
They're
it's
like,
because...
somebody's
it's,
got to stop this guy.
He was transporting obscene materials into Canada, and that was illegal at the time. You know, he spent 10 hours in jail, and they let him go. But I'm like... Yeah, that's the question.
I kind of wish they
Is
would have
it-
kept him.
Well, that's it for our 13 Days of Film Bites. We'll be back very soon with a lot more films. We got a lot of stuff in the works for this YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Go to our podcast. We do podcasts on bad films like this.
Rotted Podcast.
Podcast. And thanks again for joining us. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review us because that would really help us out a lot. And we just dang it, we just appreciate it so much, you guys.
We do appreciate it, guys. We love you guys. And you know, and what is love? Baby, don't hurt me.